Hello, everybody. Here we are again for our prep preview show, our weekly installment talking about high school football. And wouldn't you know it, we're at the final week of the regular season.
That is amazing. Yeah,
It's
really going fast.
Yeah. Randy Kindred, sports editor, is here with me. I'm Joe Deacon, assistant sports editor. So it's amazing that 9 weeks just seem to go in the blink of an eye.
Yeah, we get those season previews done, and it seems like once the season starts, it goes like crazy. And but it's a lot of good matchups this week, and a lot on the line for teams trying to get in the playoffs.
Yeah, and you said good matchups. We've been talking about it seems every week. Everything's been building to this in the Heart of Illinois Conference. It's Tri-Valley number 1 and 2A against Deer Creek Mackinac number 2. And it should be quite a big puzzle.
Yeah, that's going to be it's going to be a great game. They both have racked up some really impressive numbers all year, and Tri-Valley has been able to mix in a pretty good passing game with the great running attack they always have, and even DMAC has thrown for about 500 yards as well, I think. So it's both of them still kind of bread and butter is running the ball. I think they can keep the other team honest with some passing.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned the Tri-Valley's passing game. They're always known for their run game, and I was surprised to see that Jake Steiner is second in the area in receiving.
Yeah, which that's probably been a while since they've done that. But Aaron Koosman has been a solid quarterback, and they've had great line play, which that's kind of been their since they've gotten to this level. I think the play of their lines has been very instrumental, and that kind of stands to reason because Josh Roop has always been a great line coach.
I remember when I talked to DMAC coach Joe Blimboom back in the beginning of the season that he had their eye on this game from the get-go, especially since last year they lost 3 games and 2 of them were to Tri-Valley.
Yeah. So
they knew what they had to do, that was a team they're going to have to beat. Obviously they've got a lot of senior leadership on that team.
Yeah.
Jared Reese has been a monster at running back all year.
Yeah. So is it like 20 seniors?
20 seniors. They've been really good defensively all year, and it should be quite a matchup there in Mackinac on Friday night. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people in the crowd.
And they're it's a good chance they'll meet again in the playoffs. The pairings will come out Saturday night, and I'm sure they'll one of the first things they both look at is, well, how far down the line would we run into the other one?
Exactly. That's a shame because that's almost like a state championship type tilt.
Yeah.
But so looking around the rest of the schedule back here in town, the intercity games. First, we're going to look at Bloomington. They're at 5 wins right now, and they're looking to get that 6th win to try and assure a playoff berth. They're going to host Danville. Danville is coming off a couple of back-to-back tough losses to Peoria.
They've played Peoria High and Normal Community the last 2 weeks, and the Peoria High game was just a real heartbreaker for them. Lost on the last play of the game, so obviously Bloomington's going to have their work cut out. But it's a credit to them that they put themselves in this position to have a chance in week 9 to nail down a playoff berth. And even if they lose this game, they'll still be in consideration, but they'll have to rely on having enough playoff points, and that's going to be a really close call for them, I think. Yeah,
the Raiders obviously, Urbana's had a tough year, of course, last week, but they still got a good performance. Colton Standage, I think, threw 5 touchdowns a week ago. So at least they knew they had stuff things rolling last week.
Yeah. You couple him with those 2 running backs, Credell and Lockhart, that they've got. They do have some weapons on offense that I think could give Danville some problems. The main thing is, can they limit Danville, because they're pretty explosive, and Quentin Smith's a really good dual-purpose quarterback. So that'll be the big test for them, I think.
You said it's credit to them. How about a credit to Normal West? They started out 1-4. Now they've won 3 in a row, and they've still technically got life if they can
they do.
Finish off. They've got a tough opponent in 5A number 4 Peoria Notre Dame. But if they can get that 5th win, at least they give themselves a chance.
Well, and I think we know this by now in week 9. West is going to score a lot of points.
No doubt about
that. Who they play. So it's just a matter, can they hold Peoria Notre Dame down enough to win the game? But West has just really put up some, not just points, but they've got the leading passer and the leading rusher in the area. And they just... very high-powered offense, but it's just going to come down to, can they slow Peoria Notre Dame down enough?
Yeah, just enough. I mean, it's like you said, it's good. It's always a shootout.
Yeah, sometimes it only takes 1 or 2 stops, and that's a difference in a game like that.
Our other intercity teams have already kind of secured their playoff positions. Number 6 is 7A, number 6 Normal Community. They're going to tune up at home against Champaign Central.
Yeah, and it's obviously the game that I'm sure Normal Communities feels like they should win, but they're playing a team that in Champaign Central I think is 4-4, so they're trying to get into the playoffs, so they've got a lot of incentive in this game too. And but Normal Community with the way their offense has been with Barshawn Dixon has been great at running back, and Grant Price is back now at quarterback. So I think it'll be a tough task for Champaign Central.
Yeah, I think Jim Benson was just telling me he talked to Coach Temples and talking about Varshawn Dixon and 22 carries for 160 yards last week, 3 touchdowns in that Danville game, and Wes said it was probably his best performance of the year.
Yeah, and this is a good time to be hitting your peak, and it sounds like he is, and he's been pretty good all year. So if he's getting even better, that's bad news for their opponents.
And then Central Catholic, they secured that final Corn Belt
Yeah.
Conference championship. They're number 9 in Class 3A, and they're going on the road for a non-conference game against Tolono Unity.
Yeah, and Tolono Unity is traditionally a pretty good program. They're 6-2 this year, and I think Mike Mays, the Central coach, is probably happy that they're playing a team that's this good, and there's not much chance of a letdown after winning the Corn Belt last week, because they know they've got to play well if they're going to win this game. So I expect them to, and obviously you want to keep that momentum going. They've won 7 games in a row, and it'd be nice to head into the playoffs with an 8-game win streak.
Yeah, I believe Tolono Unity, I think, it secured their 23rd straight playoff appearance. So it is a tough program.
Yeah, and I think they beat St. Joseph Ogden recently, and that's always a good program as well.
Looking at the one other intercity team, the one team that we know is going to be their final game of the week this Friday is going to be University High. They're going to go with a non-conference game against Moline.
Yeah, and I'm sure they would like to kind of go out with a positive feel, and Moline is. Both teams are 2-6, I believe. So, U High has got to feel like they've got a chance to get a win here, and even though obviously every team wants to go to the playoffs, a win in this game would give them a little bit of good feeling and momentum heading into the postseason work that they have to do, I think.
Yeah, offensively they do have some things they can build on. I mean, Doug Holmes did throw 3 touchdown passes last week in the loss to Pontiac.
Yeah, and it's Moline. I know they play in a pretty tough league, the Western Big Six, so they're used to playing probably some bigger teams. But I think U High is going to be pretty geared up for this game, and we'll see what happens.
So aside from Bloomington, who we already mentioned, we've got 3 other teams that are already sitting at 5 wins and looking for that 6th, going to make sure they're getting into the playoffs. The biggest one among those is Eureka. Now, their first year in the heart of Illinois now. They're going to be at El Paso Gridley, who's already locked up a playoff berth. So that could be an interesting one there.
Yeah, I know Eureka they would love to get in. I know because they've had some rough years here recently when they were still in the Corn Belt, and this has been a good year for them, and it could really cap it off if they can lock up that playoff berth. And they've got some weapons on offense that I think could possibly get it done.
The other 2 teams at 5 wins we're looking at is Leroy, and they're playing Fisher. They'll probably get that 6th win and make sure they're going to get in. And then Mahomet Seymour, they're going on the road to Effingham. I don't know much about Effingham. This is obviously Mahomet's last year in the Corn Belt as well.
Yeah, and they're coming. Mahomet's coming off that tough 14-6 or loss to Central, so they'll have to kind of regroup. But I'm sure they're motivated to try and, like you said, get that 6th win and kind of get a fresh start in the playoffs.
And there's 2 other teams that still have those slim chances of getting to 5 wins and maybe getting in at 5-4, and that's Pontiac. They're going to be playing at Kankakee, and then Dwight is hosting PBL this week.
Yeah, that'll be a tough game for Dwight because PBL is only got 1 loss, and they had a really good year last year. They gave Central Catholic a good game in the playoffs last year, so that's kind of be an uphill battle for Dwight, I think. And Pontiac, I mean, that's a tough draw as well when you're playing at Kankakee. That's a bigger school, and but hopefully they can get the job done, and because I think Buck Cassin's done a good job there at Pontiac, and so it'd be nice for him to be able to get a win and get in.
Yeah, they got that win off against U High last week. A big game from Levi Ransom, especially with the big kick return, I think.
He's had a really good year, I think. He's a pretty versatile guy that can run the ball, catch the ball, and he's even thrown a touchdown pass, I think, this year, and returns kicks, and he's a real valuable guy for them.
One other game I'm going to point out real quick is that Tremont, they're going to be at home against Flanagan Cornell Woodland. It's going to be the last game for for head coach Lou Wicks, who's going to retire after the season.
Yeah, he's had a good long run there, and you know, they've had some really good teams over the years. He's kind of, anytime you're at a school that size, you got to kind of go with the flow. Sometimes, you know, the talent's going to be up, sometimes down, but he's stuck with it. And I admire coaches who are in it for the long haul like that. And I'm sure he would have liked to have gone out with a playoff year this year. But anyway, he can be proud of what he's done there.
Indeed. So that'll be it. All the games Friday night. We'll be having them online with the scoring updates. We'll get our stories and read all about them in the Saturday morning section. And then the big news comes Saturday night when the pairings are released by the IHSA.
So we'll probably have a playoff edition of this preview next week.
We will be back indeed.
Yeah.
So stick with us. Thanks for watching.